We are now live. I'll wait for John to come back in and let us know when we should start. Oop, looks like Leslie's showing up.
Hey, sorry, I'm here at the time I said I was going to be.
No, you're perfect. You're here. Now there's another one. Michael's iPhone is coming. Who would that be? Anybody have a Michael that's kind of coming in on an iPhone?
What, does it say a number?
No, it's just Michael's iPhone is connecting to audio.
Mike Duchesneau?
I just don't know who that might be.
It's our very own Mike, isn't it?
Mike,
Like
yeah.
our,
Mike Duchesneau.
Oh, yeah, Duchesneau, of course. 1, 2, that's right. There was one missing.
good thing he can't hear us yet. All right, I got to do one more thing for my day job. I'll be right back. I'll stay here, but I'm just not gonna, I'll be distracted for a minute before we get started.
All right, Norm, so the recordings are all ready to go.
All right.
So if you need me, just say my name and I'll be back.
Okay, John, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I'm ready to start our Northborough Historic District Commission meeting. In order to start, I have I have some reading I have to do about the COVID and the like, and why we have this open meeting done on video. So, I'm Norm Corbin. I'm the chair of the Northborough Historic District Commission. This open meeting of the Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the Historic District Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the Historic District Commission to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We'll follow through on the agenda. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Hey, Mike, you're muted. So first, I'm going to make sure we're all here. So I'm here. Mike Duchesneau.
I am here.
Excellent. Leslie Harrison.
Here.
Bruce Shute.
Here.
Brian Smith.
Here.
Billy Milton.
Here.
Brian Swanson.
Here.
Very good. So we are all here. So we are ready to roll. Yes. We'll start with the prior meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes?
Yep.
Yeah, they look fine to me.
Can I have a motion?
What was the date on them again? Sorry.
Wait a minute, I might actually have them here if I did this right.
July 15th.
Yes, July 15th, that's correct.
I move that we accept the minutes of the July 15th meeting.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All right, so now I have to do roll call.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
It was seconded
Second.
by Brian Smith.
Brian. Okay, thank you.
All right, roll call. So Mike Duchesneau,
Approve.
Leslie,
Approved.
Bruce,
I abstained because I was not at the last meeting.
Very good. I was checking to make sure we're doing this right. Brian Smith.
Here.
All right. Millie Milton.
Approved.
Brian Swanson.
Approved.
All right. So we have one down on the agenda. Excellent. Old business. So, the cemetery interpretive signs. We've been working on the verbiage regarding the wording to go on the Brigham Street interpretive sign. Xenia has put some input with Alexandra and Leslie. And today I sent it off to Beth Finch McCarthy because she's really the guru of knowledge of the cemetery. And I want her to make sure with all of our edits that it still is correct, technically correct. So I got a response from her with a couple of comments. I haven't been able to forward that. But where we are right now is on that sign, we have verbiage that's probably 99% there. And we've decided previously we have a list of burials that Beth Finch McCarthy has found that are either definitely there or probably there. We have a list of that. We have a photograph of one of the old gravestones, and I need to get a better photograph of one of the old hand-drawn maps of that gravesite. And that was the information we decided we would put on to the interpretive sign for that cemetery. The next step really is to get it all together, and I have to work through the DPW to get quotes and get estimates on a quote on how the job would work. When we looked at this quite some time ago, we had two options that came out. There was an online option to purchase it, and there was also one, the same people who were made the signs for us for the cemetery signs, those nice brown cemetery signs that we have. I can't think of the name of the company off the top of my head. It's someone in town owns the company.
Crown Trophy?
No, not Crown. Crown doesn't do this. He's on the CPC.
Oh, Andy, Expose Signs.
Yeah, expose signs. So there were two options there. But again, so expose signs and online would be the two that would probably approach for quotes to get it designed and built. Now, once we finalize the design, we're going to have to vote to agree that that's exactly what we want. I think we have enough information now that we've agreed to at least move it into get it to the quote stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right.
Yep.
So that one's moving ahead.
I have to comment on Julianne's background, sorry.
Oh, you're just joining us. So she's outside. She's like a local reporter.
I love it.
So there was a hiccup on the Route 20 historic signage. I'd say almost 3 or 4 months ago, I had sent a small article into the Community Advocate, and somehow it just got misplaced. But now, I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, you did notice it. It's been published last week.
Good.
That one's all done.
That's great.
The Native American sign, that's been installed. I think I sent you a picture of it installed. I have a new photograph with, here, how do I get you to see my screen?
It should be at the bottom, share screen. There's like a
Bottom,
green square right in the center of the bottom.
Okay. I had it minimum. I didn't have it so I could see full screen. All right. So this is the picture. You see that?
Get
So
there.
that's the trail
Oh,
sign.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Do you know? Does anybody know who that man is?
I do not.
Do not. He is the retired Nipmuc Indian chief,
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Walter Vickers. He's a
Wow.
resident of Northborough.
Oh, wow.
We had him.
Ray LaChance. Ray
huh?
LaChance was the kids. We had Ray LaChance was the kids. Any of your kids have Ray LaChance as a teacher?
I don't think
No,
so.
I know
Okay.
kids.
He's another Native American that was from.
Oh, is he?
Northborough. Yeah, I don't know which tribe, but in any event, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, so anyway, so I'm putting together an article about the sign, and I'll use this photograph. And I found another photograph I wanted to use. So I'm like 90% done. I just need to talk to Walter, and then find out if there's the tribal leader right now is a woman, and I went onto the Nipmuc website, but they don't have her listed, so I need to talk to him and find out what her name is. I want to acknowledge that I think the big thing is that the Nipmuc has a reservation, it's an active tribe, and it has a new chief, and it's a woman.
And what was his last name?
His name is Walter Vickers,
Vickers.
Vickers. He lives right on South Street, across from the
Northborough?
park.
Where's he from?
He lives in Northborough. I don't know if he's grown up in Northborough or how that all works. But yeah, his house is essentially almost across the street from the 135 park.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and Norm, where's the sign?
The sign. Okay, if you go down
It's down in
down
Bartlett.
Main Street to Bartlett Street, you
Yep.
take a right on Bartlett Street. You go all the way down. You're almost in Marlboro, and right before you get to Marlboro, it crosses the aqueduct.
Oh, down there. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we got permission from MWRA to install it on their aqueduct trail, because that's now a trail. And so they installed it. And then they also gave us permission to put it on their property. So we're pretty.
So is it, when you go past like the FedEx and A Dewey Pile and you go down the hill and there's a right turn, Cedar Hill Road to go,
It's
Yeah.
before Cedar Hill Road.
it's before the Cedar, okay.
It's where the aqueduct is. And then it's on the right-hand side. So you can pull off there and walk in. It's only in maybe 20 feet from the road. The issue was really to put it someplace that's safe, because Bartlett Street is not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what that one got. That
Great. That looks awesome. That looks
Yeah,
really
looks
nice.
great.
good.
Yeah.
He was thrilled that we had the flag. We put the Nipmuc flag on it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So that's
Nice.
done. The article, I'm sorry, I'm almost done with that article. And let's see. CPA, where are we with CPA? Can you fill us in with that, Leslie? We had a request in for town meeting.
Yeah, everything got approved.
So we got the approval for the National Register nomination for the Howard Street Cemetery. I've already approached DPW to see if we can get that moving along, and they're juggling a lot of balls right now. But I think in short order we'll be able to get something out. This is a pretty straightforward proposal to get out. So I'm hoping to get that DPW to get that done in probably next 6 to 8 weeks. That'd be great. I wanted to spend time tonight on the historic preservation plan. I forwarded a spreadsheet with a list of a whole bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
Let me see, I'll pull it up here if you see it this way. Stop
Hey,
share.
Norm, you may want to. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Now I can do share screen, and now I can do this one. How's that?
Whoa.
Everybody see that table?
Mm.
You may want to read it from your own screen, but so this list is probably a good 5 years old or more. You can see a lot of things have been done. I just wanted to get the list out to you as it is so that you could see some of the things that we've done recently and give you an idea of the kinds of things we should do. The purpose of this exercise is the master plan. The first thing on the master plan for us is to put together a historic preservation plan. Maybe the first part of a historic preservation plan is to come up with a list of things we want to preserve. So I don't expect to get this all done tonight, but what I really want people to look at is what are the big things that we might be missing on this type of list. So for example, the second line item down is the downtown, the local historic district. But the master plan had a lot of other things that they wanted historic preservation on. And I'm just trying to see, what role we would play in other committees. There's supposed to be a downtown committee at some point. I don't know when that's going to happen. So anybody have any ideas of something just we should be considering that we maybe haven't yet?
Nothing jumps to mind. How about you? You probably have all sorts of things
Well,
swirling in your head.
most of them are on that list. I mean, you know, in general, these are kind of specific items. In general, the expectation of us is to protect more properties. And it's hard, but, you know, we've already tried to do that by sending out letters to people who own houses built before 1800. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to get people's interest in preservation. So when I look at the list, I'm thinking somehow we need to have an incentive for preservation for historic properties, either getting them in the National Register or in the historic district or a preservation restriction on them. All real challenging things.
Hmm.
We've been taking the approach of education, which is useful, but it really hasn't hit home yet to some of the old property owners. We should be able to have an impact on Main Street. I think if there's anything that we can play a role in is preservation of Main Street, especially the historic section from the center of town heading down to the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we
would
had
be
talked
nice.
about the Civil War Memorial, but I'm not sure that's a priority. We pulled that.
That's so new, it's not on this list. It was a cleaning of the Civil War memorials.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought I did see that on here.
Is it? Well, what were you addressing then, Leslie, about war memorials?
No, you were talking about Main Street. So
Yeah. Well, there's a lot on Main Street. I think we would probably be able to be involved in all of it, but certainly the historic part is would be key to us, making sure that stays that way. There's not
So
much.
is that, you know, when you're talking about the historic part of Main Street, is that, you know, covered in the downtown local historic district? Is that considered part of that, or is that an additional, you think?
Well, I know back in the 70s, I think someone did try to have a downtown local historic district, but it was primarily the antique homes. It didn't, the list that I'd seen started around where 135 South Street comes in, then down toward the river.
Yep.
The part from 135 heading to Dunkin' Donuts is pretty limited what's left that's historical.
Yeah, sure is. Yep.
Yeah.
But did you see the cleaning of the,
I thought I did. I don't see it on there now. I'm looking for it. I thought I saw it the other day. Maybe not.
I'll write that one is off the list. We were gonna try to get CPA funding for that. And in the end, we didn't request it because it was too much of an unknown what the cost was. If you remember, we could have it either
Yeah, we pulled it.
$1,000 or $20,000. I never got a
Yep.
straight answer what the $20,000 cleaning would involve. Scott, the DPW director, Scott, had mentioned that I think he's for having it cleaned, and if he ever has some extra funds for $2,000, he can get it cleaned. So we may not even need CPA, but it should be on the list because that's something I think that should be done. In fact, if you look at all of the war memorials in town, they actually could all go for good cleaning. You know, between the stonework and then even the World War I one, you could clean the bronze up pretty nice. So
Yeah, maybe there was a reference to it in the minutes, and that's what's triggering. saw it
okay.
recently.
But it's not on here, so I'm glad you brought it up.
What about the Grange? Is there any news on?
That'll come up further down on the new business.
Okay, all right.
All right. So for the historic preservation plan, you keep scratching your head, and if something comes up, just drop an email to me. It's like, oh, we should think about doing this, so we can put it on this table.
Well, that's why I mentioned Grange was in this context.
Save the grain.
I wasn't changing the subject.
It's because I have it down here for another reason. Save the Grange, yeah. Actually, that's a key one. So as you come up with other ideas, just hit them off. The way this is going to work is just a refresher on the preservation plan. About 6 or 8 years ago, we asked for, we put in for CPA funding for a preservation plan. And the going rate at that time was between $20,000 and $30,000 for historic preservation plan for the town, which explains why nobody's doing them. None of the towns are doing them. When we spoke to a fellow at Mass Historical Commission, guy used to live in Northborough, Chris.
Skelly, right?
Thank you, Chris Skelly. He said there are so few historic preservation plans in the state that he would be willing to take even a 5 or 6 page report that a historic district commission puts together. So this is along those lines. These are the things we think we need to do. And then I think what we need to add to it is, some of the things that have been done in the past. So it's like I'm thinking it's like a 5-page document. So that's kind of the story for the preservation plan.
So what, Norm, I guess a question, Chris is willing to take a 5 or 6 plan document. What does that do for us?
Well, the question I've had several times from CPA back a few years ago was, what are your plans? You keep coming to us with things, and that's nice, but what's your long-term plan?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just good for us to put something together that shows what we're thinking about, what the future would be for, it's a guideline. You don't have to, even I think I put estimated funding and timeframes. I mean, it's really just to get an idea of what could be done by the group.
Yeah. Is it, is it worth, so we're talking about historic districts, in downtown and expanding the meeting house, common district and so forth. Is it worth putting on, perhaps, some single home historic districts that aren't downtown or near the meeting house district? I'm thinking of, there are a handful of really old homes scattered around town.
You're right, and that was why in January or February, that's where we sent out those some 20 letters. And we got response from 4 that had some interest in looking at options for preservation. I think the single home historic district is a powerful tool, and especially we saw how Marie had done it. Marie Niebuhr had done it for hers. We have already a case an example in town.
Yep.
The challenge is all of these preservation options have to be driven by the homeowner, and that's the challenge. That's really the hard part: educating them and making them feel comfortable. And the fact of the matter is, one of the reasons we're trying to get our home put on the National Register is I never understood how complex the process is. So now that I can understand how complex the process is, at least if I talk to someone who wants to try to do it, I've got grassroots experience on how this all works. But yeah, single home historic districts are good. If you go back to when we had the inventories done on the town historic properties back in 2008, 2009, both of those final reports contain lists of properties they felt should be considered for the National Register.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go on our website, if you go to the town's website and you go to the Historic District Commission website, there's a page that lists all of the properties that they felt should be considered for National Historic Register. One of the interesting ones was schools. They said you can do it's not a single house district, it's not a continuum district, but it's like a disjointed district, which they were recommending that all 5 remaining old schools could be one historic district. So then you can, you can work it that way. And I think that maybe that's part of it, is to go back through some of what we already know, where people have already made some recommendations, and start to incorporate that here somehow into a planning document. So maybe the planning document says, increase the amount of local historic district properties, and then we have an addendum in the back that says these are the properties that have been recommended in the past. That kind of a.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking, maybe along those lines, just maybe being a little bit more targeted, maybe. I mean, targeted in the positive sense, right? There are a number of there are a number of properties that we would really like to see preserved, and so, you know, I don't know. Are there other activities around that could be done to help educate homeowners, or, you know, I don't know. I'm just thinking about some more of the individual homes and buildings around town.
Well, we did start with that list of pre-1800 homes. We could expand the list. And that's another option we can be thinking of, expanding the list and targeting some more of the homes that were, you know, built prior to 1900 that are significant. But I think a good way to start is to refresh our memories what's on the original list from the contractors we had, because it was a pretty extensive list. Actually, just for the heck of it, let me see if I can pull it up. Might be a good time to just see what we got here. Now, are you seeing my screen now or not? What do you see on your screen?
Yeah, we still see it.
You're seeing that I'm on the Northborough website, or are you looking at the table?
The Excel file.
What was that again?
We're seeing the Excel file.
You're probably just
all right.
sharing your window. You can share just a specific window, or you can share your whole desktop.
Okay, well, let me just,
You want to jump around to share your desktop, and then you can.
let me first find what I'm looking for, and then somebody can guide me on how to get it so that you can all see it. How about that?
I think you're going to have to unshare, and I think you shared just your.
Right. But let me just see if I can find what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Before I
All
try
right.
to share it. If I can't find it, we don't have to share it. Let's see what we got here. All right. Got it. All right. So now I have to stop sharing what I was sharing. Is that correct?
Mhm.
And I
Correct.
can go
When you
to
go to,
screen share.
yeah, it's almost like for me, it says screen 1, screen 2, whatever.
Let's see. I think this is the first for me. If this works, are you looking at this list now?
Yep.
All right. So this is on our website. It's combined information from both of the inventories. And so table 1 is individual properties that they felt should be listed on the National Register. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 17 homes, and then there's a couple of other things, Railroad Bridge. Just so you know, for the Mary Goodnow burial ground, Debbie, who was with us before you joined us, Leslie? Debbie.
Oh,
Deborah.
Deborah Como.
Deborah Como. Deborah Como was a big proponent of that. We actually got it to the point where the Mass Historical Commission has agreed that site should be on the National Register. But so if anybody wants to pick it up and start filling out National Register forms on that site, it's available. We got the thumbs up for that one. So that's kind of a loose end that we haven't really paid attention to. So that's table 1. Table 2 are
Norm, was that the Mary Goodnow property?
that's the Mary Goodnow burial ground. Yeah, the property, you take about a trail and you go out back where her memorial is. It's actually her grave site. But we got all the permissions to do that. We have the letter that said it's okay. What it needs is a lot of history information about the attack and the like.
Okay.
Norm, can you scroll up again? What's the category of table 1?
Table 1 is individual assets.
So why is 302 Church Street not on there?
I don't know. That was their list. These are little things that probably are missing here and there.
That's a
Is that
biggie.
the Holloway?
That's a biggie.
So that's 302 Church. Thank you for seeing that. And these are potential historic districts that they recommended. Expanding the Meeting House Common, Town Center, the Boston Post Road. One of the consultants really liked the whole School Street, Summer Street area because there's a lot of older homes in there that are very well kept. Then we have the mill areas, Woodside. If you go down, Woodside has a bunch of houses along with the mill. Chapinville still has quite a few homes left from, the factory's gone, but there's still some homes left from the original factories. White Cliffs, the White Cliffs is actually could be a district because there's still 3 other houses associated with the mansion. That's the word, thematic district. The next one is the historic schoolhouses thematic district. And then she thought one of them said they could do something with historic farms. You could do a thematic district with historic farms. Interesting. Now I think a lot of the farms actually are already protected through conservation somehow, right? Am I right, Leslie? There's a kind of conservation programs for some of the farms and even some of the golf courses. They're already protected. So if they're already protected, it might not be very difficult to get them protected another way as a historic district. So. All right. All I'm trying to do at this point is just start to tickle your brains about things that we could do for the long term.
Yeah.
So if you think of something, just shoot off an email. That'd be great. Now I'm going to stop sharing. And then you guys are all back. Actually, the preservation plan was the thing I wanted to spend the most time on tonight. Thank you for that. New business. 35 Whitney Street. We hired a contractor to put in the nomination documents. It's highly encouraged that you don't try to do it yourself. We've already found that out when we tried to do it for the Howard Street Cemetery. They're really nitpickers, and they said it's best to have a consultant do it. So we hired a woman, Jennifer O'Donnell, I think it is, in Westboro. So she's pulling that together. She said by the end of this month, she'll have a draft that's ready to be sent into the Mass Historical Commission. It does take 2 to 3 years from now. There's a long backlog, large backlog. All right, 137 East Main Street. I think we spoke about this 2 months ago. This is that little yellow farmhouse at the corner of East Main Street, and then going down into the developments in the back of the over 55 communities. That ringing a bell?
Is that the one with the, it's got the historic, the marker in front of it?
The marker's not too far from it. That's correct.
Yeah.
Straight from it or one house down. Yeah. So the current owner, I think I mentioned him last time, is a preservationist. So he's excited to buy this house and do some preservation work. He contacted the town hall because he also wants to do I think he wants to add a wing in the back and some patio and, do some landscaping in the back. So he contacted the town hall to find out what the restrictions are because it's an old historic building. Town hall contacted me and said, what are the restrictions on it? So I emailed them back and I said, unless you're tearing the building down, there are no restrictions at all. He was appalled because he felt that building should have restrictions on it. I said, we try to say what we can. And so it's kind of an interesting concept. Usually it's push back. He's like, what do you mean there's nothing? It's not protected at all? I said, no, unless you want to demolish it. So he was very interesting to communicate with. He's gonna do good things with the property. It's nice because I had got at least 3 or 4 requests from real estate agents trying to understand how that property could be demolished. So they found someone who could save it, and the previous owner is still to death. The Collins family, I guess they've been in there for over 4 generations, so they were happy that someone would preserve it. So, good news.
That's great. That's really good. It usually doesn't turn out that way.
It very seldom turns out that way.
Yeah.
And the other good news is, I don't know if you're familiar with 114 Hudson Street. That's it's Art and the Duffy family. You familiar with Art Duffy?
Yeah.
Art and Tracy Duffy, yeah.
Yeah. So they just sold their house. It took about 1.5 years. And the people who bought, I don't know if you've ever been inside this beautiful mini mansion. It's gorgeous on the inside. It was built around 1890, and it's all beautiful woodwork, and it's all well maintained. And they found somebody who loves the inside. It's going to keep it up. So
Nice.
last 2 months, we had good news of old homes that are being saved and
That's great.
Nice.
That's great. Yeah, my daughter used to be friends with Balin, their daughter, and she used to talk about how beautiful the house was.
Yeah,
and-
same thing. My son was friends with Connor, their son
Yeah.
Connor.
Yeah,
It's, they had it as about 10 years ago, there was an open, they had, the Historical Society with the library had a open house of homes. I think there were 10 or 12 homes that had open houses as a fundraiser. And that's the opportunity we had to get in there. It's like, it's amazing. Before I go on my other list, are there any things that jumping up that you want to add to the new business other list?
Trivia night.
Oh, trivia night. Okay. How's that going? I know you got the Molnar sisters involved.
Yeah, come on. I don't want to hear I'm not good at it. It's for a good cause. I guarantee it'll be fun. Just do it. Trust me. Please. I'm begging you.
when is that again, Leslie?
Yeah, Bruce is unaware, so have him sign up.
Yeah, when is that?
I've got so many dates going on. That
When are
one
you
is
not busy, Bruce?
November. Let me double check. November 14th, I think. I've got two going on. So, no, October 24th.
That must be a Friday. Is it a Friday night? Saturday night?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep, Saturday. That's October 24th, 7 p.m. I know Julianne said she was game. She was excited.
Yeah, that's a
She
big.
did. You did. You said you would do it. Alex and Zenya
Well,
were.
I added my name if you needed a team member. That's
Yeah, well, I probably can't play on this team. I have to see. I've got many possible teams I might have to play. I'll sort of see who. And with my new job, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to make it. I'm hoping I will be able to, but
The new job will be on a Saturday night. That's
Yeah.
a stupid job.
Tuesday through Saturdays, 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Uh,
And if I switch roles, it might actually end up being to 8 p.m.
oh, well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
I'll take a look. I'll see if I can do that.
Great, thanks. Millie, Brian, Michael,
thinking about
Norm.
I'm
What?
thinking.
Did you say, was that a yes?
I'm just concerned that's just about when we're going to be starting to open the restaurant. So that is my only, my,
Oh, come on, you're just playing us now.
Well,
I'll
Norm,
hold you to it. I'll order a cup of coffee that morning.
Norm, you said you wouldn't do it. Lead by example. Come on.
Okay, you've convinced me to think about it. How about that?
Yeah, come on.
So-
Everybody says they're terrible at it.
Is it general trivia or is it Northborough trivia?
It'll just be generic trivia, yeah. It's fun. They do, geography or history or politics. It's
It's
just
fun,
silly,
yeah.
good old fun. And you'd be amazed how much useful information you actually possess. And it's just fun. I mean, it's not, nobody's there to win. You're just there. It's a fundraiser for Rotary, and it's just fun. I mean, what else do you have going on these days? I mean,
It's a
Done
good
by
point.
Zoom, right?
not like that. Yeah, it's not like there are a lot of conflicts these days.
All right, whatever.
Okay.
I will look
got a
into it.
team.
I'll take the Bruce
You shamed
shoot
me.
approach. I will look into it.
Norm, Bruce, Millie,
I gotta check my social calendar.
Julian,
How many do you need on the
Alex.
team?
Zenya. What?
How many on the team?
Give me as many as you want. The only limitation is it's a technical limitation. There can only be 100 devices with Zoom. And the Quizmaster is one, so we can only have 99 devices. But
All right.
So how does it work to raise funds? Do we pay into to play or is it just?
yeah, it's a requested donation, suggested donation of $20 a head to play.
Okay.
Rotary, we have a Venmo and a PayPal account, or checks are fine. And no amount is too small, no barriers to entry. So if you can't afford the 20, you don't have to pay the 20. And if you can afford more and want to, then
Okay.
go for it. It's just kind of a replacement for the street fair. The street fair was our Rotary's biggest fundraiser, like, $7,000-8,000 every year.
Is
We're not
it?
gonna have that this year.
Are we allowed to have a wine while we're playing?
You can do whatever you want.
makes you
To
smart.
BYOB.
There are no rules.
I
All
mean,
right.
Leslie,
So-
can we bring friends? Like-
Yeah, I mean, just let me know. So keep me posted. I mean, if you're together in a physical space, then you can, I'm assuming with friends, you might be distanced, but people in your household so you can share a device. Although I've played with, like, I've done a family game where my kids were downstairs playing and I was upstairs and we were on different teams. I've done other times where I've done a bunch of these where, we're all together in a room and just on one device. So
Okay.
it's flexible.
All right, so I see your goal is to have a historic district commission team. That's
Michael,
what-
you're talking, but you're on mute.
There we go.
Yeah,
Hey, Norm, I have one other topic if we're done talking about trivia.
are we done, Leslie?
That's fine. Yeah, I'll send an email out again and just say this is. Thank you. I appreciate everybody's willingness to consider it.
Okay, Michael, it's all yours.
Yeah, the Board of Directors for the Northborough Historical Society met last night, and we decided to move forward with an application to the CPC for restoring the building our building on Main Street, the old Baptist church. And as part of the application, it looks like we need a letter from the Northborough Historical District Commission giving some kind of community approval for the project or for the application. And I was wondering if that would be something we could at least, I'm requesting it, and hopefully we can get that. The application is due on November 12th. So I was wondering if that was possible to get some kind of a application with that letter attached.
Oh, it's a good question, Michael, and I'll tell you the same thing. I'm kind of helping out on the application a little bit. The
Oh,
way
you
this-
are?
Yeah, with Rick Ferenchek.
Right, I
Um,
was talking to him last night.
Right. No, and this is all good. This is all real good. The way it works is the request for CPA funding is a historical request, a historic preservation request. So the Historical Society has to have input from the Historical District Commission. They have to request, what you're requesting is what has to happen. We cannot write that letter until we see the final version of the request. We need to know exactly what's requested. And we also have to have, we'll have to invite the key players on that submission to participate in one of our meetings and really walk through we have to have a discussion about it.
Okay,
So more than likely it would be at our November meeting, which would
Okay.
be after your submission date, but that's really not a problem. The
how so?
letter can come after the submission date. Believe me, that is not an issue.
Okay,
Quite certain, Leslie, there's some flexibility is when a letter of support comes into the CPC.
so I'm actually working on the application as we speak.
Yes.
I created the form electronically, and I got some input from Rick, and I'm basically working on it. Just before we had this meeting, I was working on it. Would it make sense after we kind of got that thing? So it'll be in a draft form, probably within a few days. When I get it kind of circulated and approved from our end, would it make sense to send it around to the folks in the commission to look at it and just to get that application in draft form around?
I would have preferred to do this differently, but
Okay,
the commission only wants to see the final version.
oh, okay,
However, I'm also working with Rick, so you and I, Michael, should talk a little bit about that application.
okay, good.
There's one key part of that application. There's a lot of information. You can build it up with the Historical Society because it's a wonderful feature in town. There's one key thing. We have to clearly define the difference between maintenance and preservation. That's key, because if it's maintenance, you won't get $1. If it's preservation, you might get all the money. I have to send you an email that I sent Ferenchek. I found 69 examples where CPA funding was used for some form of painting. The kicker now is to go through those examples and find out which ones focused on exterior painting only. Many of them include painting, but it's a huge restoration project that, oh, by the way, we're going to paint the building. This one is pretty much paint the building. So
I mean, so the library project was painting. I mean, it ended up being the roof too, but.
It was a restoration project that included the roof, some painting, some wall repair. So the point of to make the strong case for the society, and that's what they need to bring to us, because those are the questions we have to ask, is this a maintenance or is this a preservation project? And what I found very helpful is to go to the consortium group, the CP, who's the consortium group? Community Preservation Coalition. The Community Preservation Coalition has a database which includes every funded CPA project in the entire state since 2005, I think. And you can search that. And that's where I found the 69 that have the word painting in their application. So Michael, what I'd like to do then is work with you on that database, because the drive is going to be to convince the CPC that this is definitely worth funding. And there may be a lot of other examples that did paint the exterior of buildings and get funding for it. We just have to make sure the CPC likes to see examples in the past of something similar if they're going down a different path. That's kind of.
Okay.
All right. So
you don't think not having the letter attached is the kiss of death?
No, the letter can come after I'm going to propose at the end that we don't have another meeting till the middle of November, which is after your date that it's due. And that's, believe me, I know how I was on the CPC for 3 or 4 years. Having a letter after the submission is not an issue at all.
Okay. Well, we had the board of directors meeting last night, and we don't have the funds to do this project, even though we have 3 quotes, and we kind of
it has nothing to do with you having the funds or not. It has to do with the definition of maintenance versus preservation.
I wasn't trying to downplay what you were saying. I was just simply saying our meeting, we're kind of looking at this as one of 3 other possible ways of getting this painting. So.
And I think the funding, what kind of a dollar value are you looking at? It's like 25,000, something like that?
20,000.
20,000, yeah. I mean, it's a reasonable price to have the building, upgraded, so.
Well, yeah, it's 20,000, involves, spray washing and repairing any kind of rotted areas and that kind of stuff. We're still not planning on doing anything with the shutters. We're going to remove the shutters and then take a look and see what kind of carpentry or milling needs to be done to repair that. But that's not part of what we asked the contractor to give us a number on. So
keep in mind, I have to send you an email. I clearly didn't send you the email that I sent to Rick.
Well, I'm
going to be honest on this one. Repairing the shutters is a perfect example of restoration. That is a straightforward repair, fix, paint, reinstall. That is absolutely restoration. And it's kind of odd in my mind that the only thing that's really restoration is not being done. So
you voiced that clearly to everyone last night, and I'm trying to move forward with getting the building painted.
Yeah,
and I think your point was well made, and so that sounds like it's going to be an add-on at another time. But
well, let me. It's a little awkward because I'm on the commission here and I'm also participating to help the.
Yeah, and I was going to.
You and I need to communicate, and we'll see what we can work with. And I think my feeling is the best use of our time right now is to find other CPA projects that funded preservation of an old antique building by painting it. And if we can find a half a dozen of those, we can make a case with the CPC that this is done before, it's common practice, it's not a problem, because they have to have, the CPC has to have a feeling that they recognize that this is an acceptable project. Just keep in mind, there have been lawsuits against, there have been towns where the citizens have taken lawsuits against the CPC committee because they funded projects that don't fall under the guidance of the requirements for CPA funding. So there's legal precedents where if something's not done right, lawsuits are involved. That's why we just have to really make sure that this has been done before and there's some consistency through the CPA funding requirements. So let me work with you on that on a different timeline, Michael, because
Okay.
I think together we can put something together that would fly by the CPC.
Fair enough. Just one other thought was, would that mean that you and I would have to recuse ourselves to be a signatory on this letter at all, or is that?
Most likely, yes, because
Okay.
we'd be too involved in it. But we have 5 other members on the committee that can write it, and the vice chair can sign the letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I think it's a good project. I think the trick is how do we understand how we can make it fit the criteria of that kind of funding.
Understood.
Okay, I'm glad you brought it up, Michael. All right, how are we on time? Ooh, not too bad. So these are some other loose ends. The Grange. I happened to go for a walk about 3 weeks ago and found 2 young men inside the Grange taking out stuff. So I figured, well, let me find out what's happening here. It was the owner's son and a helper, and they were cleaning out some of the project that I didn't realize the Grange is actually an ongoing project. But I did go inside, and they have started to make apartments inside. The challenge, well, the sad part is his father, the owner of the house of the Grange, passed away with COVID about 8 weeks ago.
I don't know.
So the son is responsible for the property, and he's not sure what he's going to do with it. He's not sure if he's going to continue the work that they've started to make it, so they'll keep owning it and make it into apartments, or if he's going to sell it. So that's where the Grange is as of today. I put him in touch. He needed to get in contact with some of the people in town hall, like the building inspector and a few other people. I sent him the links in the town planner, and I haven't heard from him since then. But so the Grange is in a flexible state right now. But yeah, his father passed away, and his father's goal was to move out this way to be with his family. So it's really sad.
It's too bad.
Michael, you had sent an email to the what is it here? The archaeological guru at Mass Historic Commission. Did he ever get back to you?
No, I got nothing.
Huh.
Yeah. I was going to use I just assumed that he's probably on some kind of temporary status due to COVID, and perhaps he wasn't there, but I was going to use the phone number and give that a call, but never got around to that.
You keep pushing the buttons a little bit. The people from Mass Historical Commission, he's part of that, have been very responsive for me lately. So they're all working from home.
Did I CC'd you on that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I try again, because your inquiry had to do with all of these I keep saying archaeological features in the town of Northborough in the master plan. They said there were like 12, something like that, locations.
Yeah.
And I'd like to find out where those are.
Yeah.
I think we also.
Yeah. Because it looked as though that last we spoke that those were all kind of kept confidential so people wouldn't go out and ravage through the sites.
That's correct. But I'm hoping that since we're the Historic District Commission for the town of Northborough, we might have some priority for some information.
Yeah, I need to probably give him another call or another email or something.
Yeah, give him another shot, see. Or
Okay.
write him, even sometimes the old-fashioned letter thing has to work. But
Okay.
yeah, don't give up. Sometimes
Okay.
it takes a few inquiries. Okay, remember we wrote a letter. There was a nomination for the Gale Store for a Preservation Massachusetts Award. And if you remember, I wrote a letter. I get all you guys to say it was the right thing to do back 3 months ago. They won the award. So the Gale
Wow.
Store is one of the award winners for the Preservation Massachusetts 2020 awards. Usually they have, this is like everybody else, they usually have their big money maker in Boston at a huge hotel. I think it's like $500 a chair to sit in the room, and they give out the awards, and it's a big PR thing for them, and they can't do that this year. So they're doing everything virtual. I don't have the information on how they're doing the exact giving away the award, but when I know more, I'll forward it to you. Because the Historic District Commission is a member of the, we signed up last year to be members of Preservation Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And there's 2 awards. We have one particular award, which really has to do with bringing a lot of teams together to do work on a project. The other award is called the Citizens Award. So I just got the notice that we're also included in the Citizens Award, which is a people vote to what their favorite project is. I got the notification for it, but they have not for another 2 weeks will they tell us how we can vote. And I'm curious to know if we all get to vote since we are all members of Preservation Massachusetts, since we're all part of the commission. So if I know more, I'll let you know. So there's a woman at the Community Advocate working on an article for that. So it's been a bunch of good news the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a news story. I don't know if everybody saw this. Kind of interesting though. Tugas Farm in Northborough was
I saw
identified
that.
in USA News.
USA Today, I think. Is there.
USA Today, that's right. As number 6 best farm in the country.
Whoa.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Wow, the country?
Yeah,
Not
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Wow, that's impressive.
yeah.
I sent it to my niece who was visiting from Syracuse. She was passing through. And so I sent it to her. She said, oh, well, number 1 on the list is right down the street from me.
Oh, really?
Was that, there was 6th best? Is that
Yeah.
6 best, yes,
6th best? Wow.
in the country.
Impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah,
Little old Northborough.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Let's see. Millie, I know you had asked me about the open meeting law because it was on one of the agendas, I think the January agenda, and it was never addressed.
Mm.
I had to go back and scratch my head. I remember now in late January or early February, there was a meeting. It was before we had all this shenanigans with the Zoom. There was a live meeting in the library where someone came in and gave some presentation on open meeting law. And I found it really interesting. I couldn't find my notes. I'm really disappointed. But we all had to sign, it's almost every year we have to sign that we read the open meeting law. And I know if Brian Swanson, have you done that before? Because you've been on other committees in the town.
I did it a year or so ago when I first joined this group.
Okay, so I think we'll probably all cover it then. I just remember there were a couple of things that woman spoke about with some examples, and when I do find my notes, I'll bring them up. But it's mainly to make sure we all knew that and the ethics rules are clear in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
I should have done this earlier, but it's nice to have Millie and Brian as voting members of the commission now. That worked out really well. Yes. All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Julianne, did you want to say a minute or two about White Cliffs? Because you were in the same meeting I was at.
Well, you know, you can add to this, Norm. we got an update on all of the repairs, basically is what the meeting was about. The roof, of course, has been done. A contractor has been hired to do frames for the stained glass that are in storage. The chimney repairs are being evaluated. And I think the biggest thing is that actually we're meeting September 22nd at 10 a.m. and we'll hear from the architect more about those kinds of details, but more reuse options. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, and the dormer on the roof is being repaired.
Yeah.
So
a lot has been done, over the spring and summer. This was the first time we had met since February?
Yes, February.
Yeah, but so that was all good news. And I think that one big hurdle now to look at is how to separate the addition from the building in a cost-effective way so that that addition is not hurting the inside of the historic part of the building.
Right. So this is all part of a to-do list regarding securing the building. And there was, in the end, they do have the money to do all of the securing that they want to do. Originally, we thought that we might not have enough of a budget for that, but very strange. The good fortune is because of the pandemic, the prices for having contracting work done was more reasonable now. Interesting.
Is that next meeting, open meeting, something that the public can join in on, or is it just
It's the same kind of a style as this will be. There won't be room for public comments.
Yep, I understand. Okay.
And the last topic is our next meeting. How do we want to do this going forward?
Hey, Norm,
Yep.
there's a topic in there for mail. Is there no mail?
I have not seen any mail.
My personal opinion is we should meet as often as we need to, just like I don't think the fact that we're meeting via Zoom should affect the frequency of meeting.
So we have a couple of options on that. Bruce made a good point. He said there might be a way where we can automatically get these meetings set up. The Zoom ones they seem relatively straightforward, but if we have to have a meeting with some public comment, then that's a different ballgame. It's a different software. I'm gonna see if I can find an email we got just the other day.
It's still Zoom with public comment.
I think it's a scheduling. There's more of a scheduling problem when you have to have public comment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to read it verbatim. This is from Diane Wackel yesterday because she was involved in the email. You probably all saw this, but I'm going to read it anyway. She says, the idea of pre-scheduling makes perfect sense, but because we have limited Zoom licenses, we are asking that boards and committees only schedule meetings as needed, unless you definitely plan to meet on a specific night of each month. They can schedule meetings up to 3 months in advance.
Yeah, I think she was saying not limit when we meet. I think she was just saying be careful not to set up a series because it may end up using licenses and we may not end up meeting. So maybe we would book for 6 months and only meet 3 of those times and we'd be wasting 3 licenses. So I don't think they're trying to control how often we meet. Just I think that was specifically about the series. That was my impression.
Mm-hmm.
So do we, let me think for a second, because this is something that might come up. I'm trying to remember some things. So when we have the Historical Society come in to review their CPA requests, I don't know if that happens, if that has to be an open meeting, or if that can be a regular Zoom meeting with them just as participants. I have to find that out because that changes the dynamic of the call.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, I'm trying to understand this because if we're trying to, if we try to schedule three months in advance, if we can, some of those months might be a regular Zoom meeting and some might be the webinar meeting, which is a
I
different.
mean, I don't see a real benefit to scheduling in advance. I mean, it was just, if it's just getting the email, the information out to people, I don't think it's, I would just do one of those as we go each time, but that's just me.
Well, let's get everybody's input. We can, you know, we went 4 months without a meeting. That wasn't good. Then we went 2 months without a meeting because we skipped, gave our month, we gave August off so we could enjoy August, I guess. Let's get just a feedback. Do you want to meet in October? That's the next month. Do you think it's, you know, usually our meetings are productive and we get some things done, so it's not like it's a waste of time. Do I have a feeling to meet in October or wait till November?
Well, I'd like to meet in October so we could possibly get this letter resolved and submitted as part of the application, if that's possible. I don't know if we have to have a full meeting, but if that's an item on the agenda, that would be helpful for us to submit that. Now, you said it doesn't matter if the letter comes after, so I guess from that standpoint, it's not critical, but I understood the date as November 12th as the submission date, so.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, your submission, as Norm said, it's more of it's a placeholder at that point. They all evolve, but it's just a sort of.
I don't know if you all realize that Leslie is now the member on the Historic District Commission member on the CPC. So.
Okay.
Maybe it's your third year, isn't it, Leslie, now? Well, you've been on it.
Yeah, I think it's been I think 2 years maybe.
Yeah, but you were on previously for another committee.
I was not, actually. I was not.
Oh, I thought you were on before. All right, well, that's good.
And I think Millie, did I see Millie that you're the planning board rep now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Millie's on the planning board. So we get, you've got some very good people.
No, but she's on the CPC. She's the planning board rep to CPC. It was Anthony Zeiton, and now it's Millie.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a reason to meet in October. You know, we can do that. I'll have to just find out if that's requires an open meeting format or the standard Zoom meeting format. Is everybody good with an October meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be good because then we can also look over the list of the projects and maybe do some thinking on that about what some of our goals might be, or you know, again, to start with what the master plan's looking at as well.
Okay, so I'm looking at an October calendar and it would be October 21st.
Yep.
The third
so I'm looking at
Wednesday.
that, Again, the only issue with me will be this job is till 7, and there's a chance that I'll end up switching to a role where I need to be working till 8. I'll have to see if there's possible that I will be able to switch my hours on certain given days. But so it's possible that I will have to be absent for a while. This is kind of an indefinite, it's a temporary gig, but indefinite right now.
Okay,
It's COVID related, so.
yeah, it's going to be with us for a while, that's for darn sure. Well, other than that, there's only one other thing on the agenda, and unless you want to still keep looking at each other's faces, we could move along. But we can't do anything unless someone makes a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
That sounds good.
That sounds good?
Second?
I'll second. Oh, Bruce got it.
The Leslie.
I think Bruce got it. Bruce is writing the minutes, so he can decide which one of us got it.
So gotta do the old roll call thing. So this is in regards to adjourning the meeting. Mike.
Approve, yes.
Leslie.
Absolutely.
Bruce.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Millie.
Yes.
Mr. Swanson.
Where'd he go?
He's
Scott.
out.
Oh, you left early.
So we're all good to go. That was enough of us voted. We're closing off the meeting. It was good to see you all.
Great to see you.
Likewise.
Same here,
Take
Norm.
care. And Mike, I'll
Thanks, you
contact
guys.
you. I'll send you an email in about 5 minutes.
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
Take care,
Thank
everybody.
Bye, everybody. You too.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Be healthy.
You
Yes,
too.
healthy. Thank you, John. I think everything went smooth tonight.
Hi, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yep. We'll see you next month then.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.